Welcome back to Giddy Up. We are live from Oakland's Junction as we get set for the English Premier Yearling Sale, which kicks off, of course, on Sunday. And if you followed this man, Dean Evans from Winning Edge Investments, you'd be able to rock up here on Sunday at Oakland's Junction at the Premier Yearling Sale for Inglis and purchase a yearling because simply he didn't miss on Saturday. Little Bros in the Blue Diamond. He was all over Animo. He was potting in secret. It was a complete fill-up for our man Dean Evans, and he joins us now. Good morning, Dino. Congratulations, mate. That was a day to remember for you on the tip.
Yeah, cheers, Gareth. We had I got a magic on the highway as well. So no, we had a good start. Little Bros was a great result. Blue Diamond, and nice start to the autumn, and hopefully we can kick on again with another 3 nice Group 1s on Saturday.
Let's have a look at the Canterbury Stakes first of all. This is the Group 1, 1,300 metres. Wait for age there at Royal Randwick. Bet365 market, of course. Bet365, the world's favourite online bookmaker. Make sure you gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. We've got Cascadian at $13. Artorias at $7. Lombardo at $13. Then we go down to Converge at $34. Old Flame at 50-1. Quantico at $41. The odds-on favourites Imperatrice at $1.95. Electric Girl at $8.50, and then Golden Mile at $6. What are you doing here, Dino?
Yeah, interesting little race, tricky little race. It's sort of that early Group 1 for the autumn for the Sydney horses. A lot of first-up runners, more than half the field first up here. And usually the winners are sort of first, second, third up. On pace is pretty strong here. 7 of the last 9 winners have been in the first 3 and running. And my speed map here has this as a very, very slow speed. So I think that's what's interesting about this race. I've got sort of Electric Girl, Lombardo, Imperatrice, and Kerwin's Lane sort of pushing forward. I think Old Flame, Golden Mile, Converge will sort of be jockeying for positions, trying to get forward of midfield as well. But some of the horses, that are obviously in the market, and good horses like Artorias, Cascadian, Quantico and Argentia, they're just going to get a long way back. And I'm just not sure if it's going to suit them there. So, I'm looking for those runners that are going to be on pace. Obviously, Imperatrice, odds on at the moment. Mark Walker bringing her over from New Zealand on sort of 3 Group 1s in the last year or so. Very, very good mare. But, very short, and I sort of think of La Crique in the spring, who came over, a mare from New Zealand with a big boom and didn't manage to run a place at very short odds. So I'm going to bet around Imperatrice. I think Lombardo, who won the Goodwood a couple of starts back, is just going to, hop straight into Bunny. I'm sure they'll have him fit first up. And he may well prove hard to run down at sort of $13, $14. Electric Girl maps really nicely, just like she did in the Millie Fox that she won first up. She's going to get a really soft run, and she's sort of double-figure odds as well at around $10, $11. And the Bolter, that I think is a very good horse, but trialled awfully, and that's probably reflected in price. It's sort of 50-1 plus, but Old Flame has won first up its last 2 preps. It was really impressive at Flemington over the Spring Carnival, winning the Lithgow Stakes by 1.6 lengths and beat the likes of Poland and Ironclad and World Planet. So, I think that Old Flame could be a Group 1 horse, and it's probably just a question of how fit he is. But given he's only had a 100-day break and he's won first up his last 2 preps, I thought he was one that seemed to be well over the odds in a race where I just have to risk the likes of Artorias, Cascading and Argentia, who are the class horses, but are just going to get a long way back on a slow pace.
So we're backing Lombardo at $13, Old Flame at 50-1, and Electric Girl at $8.50.
Yeah, I think I'll be having something on those 3 and hoping that Imperatrice gets beat.
Randwick Guineas, we've got, this is a beauty as well, Mansoy's at $26, Ospapenko at $4.60, the Hobartville winner. Afcabin at $2.70. Zoo Tiger, tongue tie on first time at $6. Johnny O'Shea happy with him. James Cummings and James McDonald over the moon with Afcabin when we've had a chat to them this week. And then we go out to a horse like Matcha Latte at $10. Williamsburg at $19. Communist at 19, Linda Man at 17, Attrition likely to stay in Melbourne and Victoria at $11, and then big prizes for the rest. How do you read this year's Randwick Guineas?
Yeah, look, always a quality race. The Autumn Sun, it's a done deal. Shadow Hero, Lions Royal Machine, winners in recent times, so it always throws up a very good horse. Look, it's been reasonably easy to find the winner of this race. From a historical perspective, every winner's come off a 14-day break in the last 11 years. They've all come out of the Hobartville Stakes lead-up, and they've all run well in that race in the lead-up. And then the winners have usually proven they're also up to Group 1's grade in the spring. So usually these horses have already had a Group 1 run in the spring and proven that they can run well at that sort of grade. So it's a fairly similar sort of profile. A couple of leaders in the last 11 years, but apart from that, the winners have usually come from sort of 5th to 13th, so off the pace and running home strongly. I've got question marks about F-Cabin, to be honest, Gareth. I think,
Okay.
Won the Caulfield Guineas Prelude last trip by 4.3 lengths, and I think everyone sort of rates him on that run. You won over 1,200 first up at Group 3 level, then it was a bit flat second up in the Hobartville. He did do a bit of work running first beaten 2.4 lengths, but I just have a look at the sectionals, and I think that this horse might actually be more of a 6 furlong, sort of 7 furlong sprinter in time. I don't think he's going to prove to be a miler from what I see. The sectionals, even when he won the Caulfield Guineas Prelude, and what he's done as most of his starts sort of suggests that, he's a fast horse with plenty of talent and a really good colt, but I'm not sure that a strong mile is going to be what he excels at in his career going forward. So I'm going to have to bet around him. I think, Osipenko threw wide in the Caulfield Guineas last prep, which is his 4th start. Little back absolutely flew home for 3rd, only beaten half a length and ran the quickest late sectionals of the race. And the Hobartville was just very strong, ran very strong late sectionals and just looked like he was going to get even better once he gets over to a mile. I think he's the one to beat. Zoo Tiger, you mentioned, 3rd in the Golden Rose last prep, 2nd in the Eskimo Prince first up, and then beating the nose in the Hobartville. You mentioned the tongue tie. John O'Shea has a 35% record with horses at the tongue tie first time and 100% POT. So I think Zoo Tiger is the one who's going to get a really nice run from his draw and map very well and prove hard to beat. And so they are the two that I'm keen to back Osipenko. I think is a very strong chance, and Zoo Tiger, the key danger, and I just have to bet around F-Cabin.
Don't you love it that you've been waiting for F-Cabin? He's one of your favourite horses, and you can't wait to see him in the Randwick Guineas, and then we get our old mate Dean Evans that just puts water all over the fire that we've had with F-Cabin. You just dampen my spirits a little bit, Dino, and the way that you went last week, it's really hard to get... it's really hard to take what you just said about F-Cabin, but for the first time, I hope you're wrong just a little bit, but I can't wait for it anyway, the Randwick Guineas, and that's why and you're right about In Secret, by the way, last week, so it's going to be a beauty, a fascinating clash there in the Randwick Guineas. And then in Melbourne, we've got the Australian Guineas. Jackanose at $2.30 is the strong favourite for this Group 1 feature. At Flemington, we've got Elliptical at $6.50. Mr. Maestro on the quick back up at $21. Amendable, good push from Michael Kent Jr. Now, he's confident with Jackanose, but he says Amendable run a big race for D. Oliver at $13. Allington Road at $26. Holy Man's at $19. Attrition for Mitchell Freeman at $8.50. And then the filly from New Zealand, Legato, is kept safe at $10. How do you see this year's Australian Guineas, Dean?
Yeah, like the Randwick Guineas, throws up plenty of good horses. We've had Hitotsu, Alligator Blood, Palantino, Hey Doc, Machine Shamus Award wins race. So, plenty of high-quality 3-year-olds here. Interesting, compared to the Randwick Guineas, this is more of an on-pace race. So the last 10 years, 5 of the winners have been settled in the first 3 in the run. 9 of the 10 settled in the first sort of 8 in the run, so sort of forward of midfield generally, because it's usually a capacity field, and only 1 settled back. So a real sort of on-pace dominated race. 10 of the last 11 winners ran in the first 3 at their last start and were beaten under 2 lengths. And sort of they've all sort of run at that 1,400-metre run the start before, usually the key that lead up to CSA stakes. So again, quite a lot of sort of historical alignment with this race in terms of where you find the winners from. Above average speed sort of here. Maximilius and Lindemann push forward. Alkerton Road, Holding Man, the Fortune Teller will all push forward. And then Japanese Emperor, Moscow Maestro and Bankmore will all do so as well. Probably those latter three aiming not to get caught wide without cover. You think elliptical, Latrician, Jacquinot and Muramasa are going to sort of worse in midfield, which isn't ideal. And amenable, you mentioned there, Legato, the Kiwi is very talented, Virtuous Circle and Lace Up Hills. They're just going to get a long way back, and historically it makes it very tough to win this race. The obvious of Jacquinot, the Group 1 Golden Rose winner, only beaten less than 2 lengths in Everest, and has won those his first up runs in the CF4. But, he's drawn wide, and there's a chance that he's going to have to get back worse in midfield, which, again, is not always ideal in this race. Elliptical and photo seconds in the Caulfield Guineas and the Spring Champion last prep, back sort of and wide in the CS Hayes Stakes, and just finished really strongly to win. Very, very impressive late sectionals. Rates very highly here. The good draw now means Blake Shin's going to be able to push him forward, and I think he's going to be able to sit forward in midfield. He did run on pace, in the Spring Champion once he got up to 2,000 metres. So I think he can settle closer. And a couple that just fit the right profile, Gareth, in terms of running well over 1,400 last start and being on pace with the 2 Kerimar horses. So the Fortune Teller, I think he lacks the class for some of these, but he's got the right trainer, jockey combo, and Maxwell, and he was thereabouts in some handy races last prep. And Holly Mans is another on pacer, just maps really nicely, and was only beaten ahead by Elliptical last start. And they just seem to be the horses that run well in this race. Well, a lot of times with some very talented horses that I think are going to win, good races. Attrition, hugely impressive in the CS Hayes last start. Flew home plus 5.5 the last 600, which is the second quickest of the race. And Legato over from New Zealand, who is a real star horse. Won a Group 1 over there by 5 lengths. And probably unlucky not to be unbeaten, but a very, very good filly. So there's some good handy horses here. Muramasa, who I think could well, once he gets up to 2,000 metres and to the Derby distances, we might well seeing him as a Group 1 horse as well. So it's a hot field, Gareth. But
yep.
I'm gonna again, take on the favourite, Jacquinot. I just think he's going to get back, and he's the class horse of the race. But I think Elliptical can map a little bit better than Jacquinot and may be very hard to run down. I'm going to have a little something at big odds on Holding Mound and the Fortune Teller, just the way the race shapes up and the way historically those horses that are, the strong milers that can sit on pace in this race often prove hard to run down, and you can get some nice price winners in this race. So Elliptical, Holding Mounds and the Fortune Teller for me.
Now, the whisper when you've arrived here at Oaklands Junction from a few of the team there at Mara and Eustace, Holy Mans has been absolutely flying since just going down to Elliptical there the other day. So if you like him each way, I think I might have $1 each way at $19 and $4.20 with Holy Mans for Kirimar, David Eustace and Mark Sauer. Elliptical currently at that $6.50 quote. Great stuff as always, Dean. Do you have a best bet outside of those features that we just had a chat about?
There's probably a couple, one at Flemington, one at Randwick. At Flemington, there's a filly called Wild Bell that Trial Star members have backed a few times, and she's run some exceptional times in trials and really impressive horse from WA who comes to Flemington for the first time. I think she's a very speedy, impressive filly at sort of $3.60. I think she might be too quick for these at Flemington. And at Randwick in the Todman, very clean on cylinder. It's a horse that we backed first up to win the Silver Slipper. I think Red Resistance is very, very speedy, but the 1200 is going to be interesting. Empire of Japan, very talented colt as well. I just get a feeling that coming back from the Magic Millions, we're getting back and running home really strongly and preparing for the Slipper. I think the one that might just get a really nice run outside the leader and prove too strong could be Cylinder and may well look to be one of the hardest horses to beat in the Gold Slipper, I suggest.
So you would say that the people that got on at $67 with Cylinder with Bet365 would be a good bet?
They'll be very, very happy with themselves at the moment, I'd say, Gareth.
Yes. That's what the Bet365 family and, of course, Giddy Up's family. We had our Futures Cup, Dino, and in my team, I had a team of 4 and I chose the driver, James Cummings, as driver, and he tipped us into Cylinder at $67. He said it'll win the silver slipper, and it'll win the golden slipper. And hopefully he's right on the money, yes. And then you've just given me so much confidence now, because usually been potting these Godolphin horses, but when you're actually cheering one home, I'm on board. You're a good man, Dean.
Yeah, excellent.
You were sensational yesterday, brother. For your full set of tips, and we got a great deal for our SEN Giddy Up family. So if we go to the website and we go to the members section and we type in SEN, we get 50% off. It's a lifetime 50% off Winning Edge Investment Services. Is that right?
Yeah, 50% ongoing discount for life for any new member, SEN listener that joins. And my service is trial spy, but there's plenty of other services from Professional Punters and also expert pro punters across sports like NRL and AFL as we get into footy season 2, all proven results, recorded, verified, published on the website every day and social media, and just proven winners across the board.
Sensational, Dino. Good luck tomorrow, mate. Thanks for your time.
Same to you, mate. Cheers.
There's Dean Evans from Winning Edge Investments. We'll take a break. On the other side of it, Nick Ashman will be joining me.